Hello and welcome to a CBK gaming video. Join us as we discuss and review Rival Restaurants by Gap Closer Games. So, what is Rival Restaurants? Rival Restaurants is a 2 to 8 player competitive board game. It takes 45 minutes to 60 minutes to complete, and that is set on a timer. So each turn, or the market phase of the turns, are timed. That means that it's an unusual game in that there is a set timer to this. It will take you 45 minutes to 60 minutes to play. Why does it belong in your collection? Why should you go and buy this? Well, it's a 2 to 8 player game. There's not many that you see that are actual board games. There are plenty of party games out there for more players. This is a good board game that can accommodate up to 8 players. That in itself is a good reason to go and get this game. It's a good competitive game to play with your friends. It's one of those games that you will sit around the table, order some food or have some good home cooking, a few beers, and you will have an absolute blast playing this game because of part of the setup, the market phase in this game, where you have to barter with your friends for items that you want to use for your recipe, or you have to beat them to an item in the marketplace. Or, worst case scenario, you have to barter for an item because you've both tried to go for the same item. All this is done in a time restricted way using the egg timer, and it generates some absolute amusement.
It really does. I mean, you can, if you want to role play the chef that you've been given, you can as well, and take on their personality. And you can do it simply that I'll swap you the carrots for the tomato, or you can make it more difficult, as some people have done with it. Oh, I don't know if that's of the same value, but of course you're watching the timer going and you're seeing other people wanting to get the deals done, and it just generates so much fun doing it against the clock as well. Yeah,
I think other items here that draw you in. The artwork's quite good. It's cartoony. It's funny. The cards are the components for the game are well made. Mm-hmm. I really like one of the mechanics. When you create a recipe, you generate rubbish. If you don't get rid of the rubbish, then you get minus points to that particular recipe, or the next recipe.
You've got a dirty kitchen.
So you have to get rid of it. They provide you with a green bin and some rubbish tokens, or a trash can or trash bin. You also have this center console, which is where you can put any of the ingredients, and this is where they're stored when you put the game away. So the marketplace has a number of things. You have the vegetables, the fruit stand, you have the carb stand, Carbtastic, the chop shop for meats, you have Dairy King for all the dairy product, and then you have the mystery mart, the mystery aisle, where you can get red wine or wine, chocolate, secret ingredients, and alien goo. You have to rush to make a decision, and you make that decision on these roundels. So each player chooses where they're going to go secretly and hides that until everybody's made that decision. You then turn it over and place your character where you want to go. That might be the shelf, which is the face down, or it might be one of the actual locations on the actual market. So several players may go for the same one. That's when you then start bartering, but you have a limited time scale. That generates hilarity. The cards, as you say, the card quality is good. I also like the fact that multiple ethnicities are shown on the chef cards.
Yep.
So the chefs give different abilities to your player as well. So they may be able to make certain recipes much easier. They may be able to do something else in the marketplace. They may always get to go first in the marketplace. There are also different cultures represented in the restaurants. So you've got the Italian cuisine, you've got Korean, Japanese, Mexican, American diner. All in all, it's a fun game that engages, as we have said, 2 to 8 players.
And we've also found there's a blank restaurant card, so you can create your own restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple of blank recipe cards, so you can create your own recipes as well. So it's not just what the game gives you, you can give back to it by putting your own input and your own creativity into the game as well.
Yes, I really like that. The cons of this game, it's going to see a lot of use. The cards you cycle through the cards quite quickly. You will probably want to sleeve those cards because they're going to go. They're cycled through quite quickly. We got the plastic tokens for the rubbish and for the coins because it gives more longevity to the game. And I would suggest that anybody who purchased this, you would want to increase that longevity because it is going to see a lot of use. Personally, whilst the art is fun, I've never been a massive fan of the cartoon style. Here, I actually enjoy it. Normally, I wouldn't do. And I know certain games that we've looked at and gone, I don't like the art style, it doesn't draw me to it. The game mechanics might have been good, but the art style put me off. This didn't. I do know that there is a expansion, and we haven't got that. We may have to have a look at it later on. I'm not sure what you could add to this, whether you just added more recipes or more chefs or more restaurants. I can't see the need to add anything more to the base game.
I mean, the mystery mart, those items do change the recipes slightly because you've got the secret sauce that can add an extra victory point. You've got the red wine that can do similar. You've got alien goo that you can substitute ingredients out. So I think they could probably throw in a bit more variety in there if they wanted to, but it's not needed.
I don't see, and hence I would need to go and actually have a look at that. But personally, unlike some games that we play, that's an expansion, that's going to be fantastic. There's a rush out going to go and get it, like Mansions of Madness or Lord of the Rings. It adds to the story, it adds new tokens, it adds new characters, it adds new gameplay and new stories. I don't see that here. So to me, it doesn't fit. But we're going to have a look at it, see what it does actually do, and I may be forced to eat my words. Which I'm more than happy to say, no, I was wrong. Any cons from you? Anything you can think of that you...
Not that you haven't already mentioned. I think it's a very well done game. I think they've spent a lot of time looking at the mechanics, going how simple can we make it but still enjoyable, because we did just pick it up and we started going. The rule book is set out beautifully. It was a quick read through and I understood everything and we were able to just start playing. There wasn't much need.
We made one mistake on our initial game playthrough. So we always try to play games a minimum of 5 times before we look at doing any sort of review. That simply allows us to find nuance to the rules. It allows us to identify any of those weird and wonderful things that you just might not find in a single playthrough or a couple of playthroughs. The first mistake that we made, and in fact the only mistake we made, we didn't cycle through the cards. So as you're playing each turn, the last counter gets replaced. So you cycle through the cards, which means that there's more movement, more opportunity to get what you need.
Stock rotation, wasn't it? Yeah.
But it also means that you need to watch. When you're in smaller games, you need to watch where the item is that you want, because if there's two on the table, but one's about to go off, you're going to have to get that one before you get the one that might be earlier in that rotation. But no, a really good game. What would you give this, your personal score, out of 10, taking into consideration all the pros and all the cons that we've just given it?
I know this isn't our normal style because we normally do big campaigns and story-driven cards. So it's story-driven games. But as just a sit-down, fun, light-hearted, competitive one, I'm actually going to go with an 8 because it was really easy to pick up and go and really enjoyable. And I can't find any fault with it.
No, I agree with you. Personally, for me, this is a 7. There's a couple of things which I just don't feel gel so well with me. Personally, I really enjoy story-driven games and narrative games. This isn't, but it is fun. It is a laugh. It is a game that it's not a game that I would always opt to play, which is why, for me, a score of 8 out of 10, that is a sort of game that I will opt to play. Given the opportunity, if somebody asks me what I want to play, I will go towards that game. This is a game I will enjoy to play if other people want to play it.
See, I'll be getting this down off the shelf.
Yes, I thought you would.
Yeah, it's my style of competitiveness. It's the best that I can do.
Yes.
It's what recipes can I do. And there are action cards that you can play against your opponents, but they're not that easy to get. You have to spend a round to go to the island and purchase one to then have it in your hand to use against an opponent. So it's not like other competitive games where your whole deck is, I'm going to sort of burn down your building and you're going to lose a turn and you can throw them out. They're not. It's a nice,
it's not
balanced
negative gameplay.
No, it's a balanced mechanic.
Gameplay.
Yeah.
Which has its place. I enjoyed all sorts of different games. Okay, well, there you have it. That is our review of Rival Restaurants. We'd love to hear if you've got the game. What did you think of it? I know that there's a couple of people commented on our Instagram pictures that they enjoy this game. I've seen it mentioned in a couple of people's 9 photographs on Facebook, that it's on their shelf of shame. Can't say that very well. This is the opportunity to go out, play it. It's quick, it's fun, and I think you'll enjoy it if you want a good laugh with your mates. So that just leaves us to say thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. If you have enjoyed it, please think about liking and subscribing. It means an awful lot to us. We really want to build this channel up. And the time you spend watching our videos and listening to us, we really appreciate it. It means a lot to us. We'd also like to say that the next review will be Last Bastion, which we found at Aircon this year and has been quite an interesting new game for us to play. We'll also be doing this week a throwback Thursday, and that's going to be the first game in that series, which will be once a month, is going to be Acquire. And that's a game that's very close to my heart. It's a game that I used to play with my parents for many years, and they still have their original copy. And I introduce it as much as I can to my friends, friends and extended family. And I think everybody's really enjoyed that game. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.